somebody really doesn't remember what happened, then it's perfectly reasonable to say everything was wonderful. I wouldn't change a thing. It's very compelling to a listener. This man is telling the truth. Because otherwise, you know, if he was trying to con me, he'd say, well, after all, I feel terrible about these things. It's much more strong to say, I did nothing wrong. My life is an open book.
What does Kenneth Bianchi have in common with other serial murderers? I'm thinking, for example, of Ottis Toole.
Well, like Ottis Toole, he is a serial murderer. He did commit murder, so did Ottis. And they're both dangerous people. The big difference, of course, is that Bianchi is pushing for getting paroled and working at it very effectively, I think, as opposed to Ottis, who isn't very likely to get out. I mean, he lacks the resources, the charm, the con capability of a Bianchi.
Do you think Mr. Bianchi will ever be released from prison or paroled?
I wish I could say no, but in this one I think I'd bet on Mr. Bianchi.
Is it your intention now to seek a trial and have that evidence evaluated by court?
Yes, my intention is to have my day in court, so to speak.
Kenneth Bianchi is currently in Washington State Prison at Walla Walla. He will be eligible for parole in the 1990s.
Hi, I'm Katie Baldus. My mother, Jenny, was murdered January the 3rd, 1986, in Texas.
My name is Pat Brody. My fiancée, Carlene, was murdered November 2nd, 1982.
I am Doris Tate. My daughter, Sharon, was murdered in 1969.
What we are looking at is a gathering of people who have formed a group called the Survivors of Murder Victims. These people all share the common bond of having lost a loved one through an act of murder. This is one of over 400 groups in California alone that meet on a regular basis. The meetings are really a support group to aid those who survive through a very difficult and tragic time. They also draw strength from one another. They monitor court proceedings and sentencing, but most important of all is they stay abreast of parole hearings. In the past, these parole hearings were usually ignored and routinely conducted. But with the recent increase in serial-type murders and senseless killings, it is not enough to capture, bring to trial, and sentence these killers. From the day these people enter prison, that's the day that they plan on their parole.